everyone and welcome back to ImTechnos. In today's video, we are going to understand Amazon Identity and Access Management and how it helps you control who can access your AWS account and what they can do. Imagine you're working in a company and suddenly everyone in the office has access to everything. Anyone can enter the server room, anyone can see salaries, anyone can even shut down systems. Sounds risky, right? So what problem are we trying to solve here? When multiple people use AWS, we don't want everyone to have full control. A developer should not delete databases, an intern should not access billing. So the question becomes, how do we control who can do what in AWS? This is where Amazon IAM comes in. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. In simple terms, it helps you control who can log in and what they are allowed to do. Think of IAM as a security system of your AWS account. Let me make this even easier with a real-world example. Think of a company office building. Every employee has an ID card, but the card only gives access to certain rooms. HR can access HR room, finance team can enter accounts room, and IT team can access servers. Not everyone can go everywhere. AWS IAM works exactly like that. Now let's quickly see what this looks like inside AWS. On the screen you are seeing the IAM Dashboard. Here under the Access Management you can manage users. You will see the users list. These are the individual people who can log in. And if you open a user, you will find permissions. These define what actions they can perform. Let's say you have a new team member John who joins as a developer. You can create a user for John in IAM. Then, instead of giving him full access, you can attach specific permissions like read-only access to S3 or limited access to EC2. This way, John gets only the access he needs to do his job. Nothing more, nothing less. As you can see, users represent individual entities and permissions define what each user can do inside AWS. Now let's look at the user groups. Here, you can create a group like developers or admins. If you open a group, you will see multiple users inside it. And instead of giving permissions to each user one by one, you attach permissions to the group so that everyone in that group automatically gets the same access. Let's say you have a team of 5 developers. Instead of giving permissions to each person one by one, you can create a developers group, attach the required permissions and add all users to that group so that all the 5 developers are granted the correct access automatically and consistently. This enables us to manage permissions for the entire team by updating a single group. Now go to the policy section. Here you can see a list of policies. These are basically the permission rules. If you open a policy, you will see what actions are allowed like read access, full access or specific service access. These policies can be attached to users, groups or roles. Let's say your team needs to access EC2, but only to start and stop instances, not create or delete them. Instead of giving full EC2 access, you can create a policy like EC2 start stop access. Inside this policy, you define exactly what is allowed, for example, starting and stopping instances, but nothing else. Then you attach this policy to a user, group or role. Now, whoever has this policy attached gets only those specific permissions. So policies are where permissions are actually defined and they can be reused across users, groups and roles. Finally, roles. On the screen, go to the role section. Here, you can see different roles created for different purposes. If you open a role, you will notice it has permissions attached but no direct user login. Roles are used when AWS services need access to other services. Let's say you have an application running on an EC2 instance. This application needs to access data from S3 bucket, which is a storage service. Now, instead of storing access keys inside the application, you create a role with S3 read access. Then you attach that role to the EC2 instance. This way, the application automatically gets the required permissions without needing any credentials to access data from S3. Roles are primarily used by AWS services or applications. However, users can also assume role temporarily to get specific permissions when needed. And since roles provide temporary credentials, they offer a more secure way to grant access without sharing long-term keys. This is more secure and recommended in real-world projects. And don't worry if this still feels a bit abstract. In our hands-on playlist, we will implement this step by step. Now let's understand when we actually use IAM. But before that, here is a common mistake beginners make. They create one account and share the same login with everyone. This is risky because you can't track who did what, and if something goes wrong, you have no control. That's why we always use IAM users instead of sharing credentials. So coming back to when we use IAM, you use IAM when you want to create separate accounts for your team, when you want to restrict access like giving only read access or full admin access, and also when AWS services need permission to talk to other services securely. So to quickly recap, IAM controls who can access AWS and what actions they can perform. If access is not controlled properly, someone could accidentally delete resources or even increase your AWS bill. Now concluding, you don't need to memorize everything right now, just to focus on the idea of controlling access. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and happy learning.